And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watcher. We are Franklin Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Hunnick Brand. Set it off, Chris, with me. Chris,
what's up, man?
You know, I every so often I think about things, right? This is like my Christmas, Chris.
This Christmas.
This is like my Christmas, Chris. The draft season is here.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
the draft is right here. We done made it through the desert for the 40 days and the 40 nights. You know, and this upcoming Thursday, Chris, we get to watch all of these teams select, you know, hopefully their franchise players for the future.
Or just pieces to the puzzle for their team, because you want to be to the point, if you get in the draft, you want to be able to get about 40 to 45% of your picks to hit that become contributors, and then you get the blessing if you find a guy out of that 45% that turns around and is like an all-pro or type of guy. So the Cowboys have 8 picks this draft, and they need, honestly, 6 to hit. They got to hit it up.
At least 4.
They need 6. They need 6 to hit this year to kind of set the table for the future. So
for sure,
very interesting for the Cowboys and for many other teams. But we had a little bit of stuff happen over the weekend.
Yeah,
some stuff we kind of knew was going to happen, and then something shocking. Me and you had went back and forth about one of the situations about happening, and then I sent you a question, man. And I want to give a shout out to B Bird, big time sport, and I think it's Rob Cowboy. They got a show, man, that I pop in and listen to a lot. And I dropped you that question and see if we had turned around and been hoodwinked by the Cowboys once again. Okay. So talk about the first deal, man. We're talking about AJ Brown definitely getting traded to the
it ain't been finalized yet, but now more people are talking about it. More people that don't have a vested interest in the Patriots and their inner workings, their inner circle.
Okay, gotcha.
So
right.
Adam Schefter reported today that, and this is something that has been known for a little while, right? AJ Brown could likely be a post-June 1st trade from the Eagles to possibly the New England Patriots. Now, I don't know what Vrabel and Adam Schefter are doing. I'm not here to insinuate nothing like that. But now we that's somebody that doesn't have a conflict of interest potentially.
Okay.
That could be talking about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of been reported, and I think the love affair has been brewing for about 2 years, or the breakup. The breakup has been brewing for about 2 years, not the love affair. But the breakup,
Which love affair and which breakup, Chris?
Okay, well, the love affair of the
be careful now.
Eagles. No. The Eagles fans with AJ Brown was a love affair. Oh, he was great, best thing since sliced bread. But the breakup has been long, arduous, and contentious along the way. AJ got silent, did a lot of reading. Right?
Yeah, on the sideline.
A lot of reading. They won the Super Bowl, things of that nature. This year, wanting to understand that the guy that they have at quarterback, listen, man, we've said it for a long time. He's a running back playing quarterback. And, it's only so much that, people can deal with. So being now that that's kind of out, and he wants to be traded. They want him out of there as well, because see, when you have this discussion time and time again, people always say, "Oh, Jalen's a winner," this, that, and the third. But I honestly believe they win in spite of him. They win regardless of him. And so when you start speaking out against him, oh, well, all he's done is won. He's gone to the playoffs. No, you've had great teams built around him to carry him. And we can go into the history of football, and there are a lot of quarterbacks that have been carried about the team around them, and they've won championships. You want me to run down a few for you, my guy?
Please.
Okay. Eli Manning carried because of this football team. Okay.
Yeah. In the regular season, sure. Playoff Eli, something a little different.
If that's a whole nother show for content. Okay. You want Brad Johnson carried by his team. All right.
Yeah, sure.
You'll turn around and you'll say, there's a lot. This is before you. You probably don't even know this guy's name. Jim Plunkett carried because of his team. Right. So there are a lot of guys that have been carried, and Jalen is a product of being carried. He's always had a really, really good defense. He's always had a good offensive line. They've had one of the best running backs in the league for the last 3 years. So it's not like he's had to do a lot. But when he's been called upon to throw you to wins, that's not what he does, man. And this is not something he just happened the last couple of years. This has been his entire career, all the way back to Alabama.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of been. Now I'm not gonna poo-poo on him, but so hard because I'm an Oklahoma fan. He was drafted from Oklahoma.
CD didn't have no problem leaving Oklahoma and going to the league and getting a better quarterback.
For sure. But what I'm saying is that that's kind of always who Jalen Hurts has been. He was never like a world beater with a arm. You know what I'm saying? So for people to pretend that was different, I mean that's just fandom. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I mean that's true. So if AJ is saying, "Hey, he's not getting it done as a quarterback, and I want out," what better way to put him with the guy who never wanted to get rid of him, with Rabel, and then put him with a better quarterback, Drake May.
Sure.
And go from there. And I think that helps New England by leaps and bounds. And I think
it works out. Absolutely. AJ Brown will become their number one receiver instantly. I don't think that there's any pretending otherwise.
Right. And so that helps a young team, gets a number one. You'll be able to build with the tight ends they have. You got Keyshawn Boutte, they'll move it in the right direction. But that also puts a guy on the clock who really works in these kind of pressure situations. Howie Roseman, he's about. I think Howie pulls. Go ahead. I think Howie pulls a smooth Rocky and Bullwinkle on us, and pulls a rabbit out of his hat and does something to be able to fill that void. Because Devontae Smith is a really, really good wide receiver. I don't think he's a number one. I think he's a very solid number two. So I think there's some things in the works that they may be able to move somebody into that spot. I don't think the Eagles will go into this thing and just say, "Oh, we're going to rest on the fact that we got Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, and I don't even know who the third guy is over there." So I think
it could be a variety of guys. They've been kind of ready, like they traded for Dontavian Wicks from Green Bay and things like that. Okay. So that's kind of to be determined. Let's be honest. Is Wicks as good as AJ Brown? No, of course not.
Okay, so nothing stops them.
We're talking about people who are wide receiver threes though, like not nobody who's pushing to be like a 2 or 1 or something like that.
Right.
So I mean that's all good and well. Like but here's how I think that they can kind of complicate things. Do the Eagles choose to draft as if AJ Brown isn't going to be there?
I think they would. I mean, if it's already kind of out in there, it's swirling in the atmosphere, and people know it, then that might be to the point that it might be advantageous for the Cowboys, where they can maybe drop back a couple spots, and they want to go get a wide receiver, one of the top 3 wide receivers. We can fall back, maybe pull up, maybe. I definitely still want that second round pick. Any way I can get to the second, get more picks, I'm still looking at that. So
I will say this though, Chris. It can get real tough for Philly because, as we're going to talk about a little later, from about I go as high as it could be as high as 7 with Washington, going all the way down to like 14 or 15 with Baltimore and or Tampa Bay. Those pass catchers, whether it is one of those top 3 or 4 receivers, and then the tight end Kenyon Sadiq, it can get complicated for him. But this is the stuff that I like though. I like things like that because when I talk draft, I try to talk unbiased. You know what I'm saying? I like when things get a little tough shoulders, get rubbing. Because then it can make for very interesting trade scenarios.
I mean, I think it can do that, but I also think those guys are fighting for their jobs, and we're going to go into that a little bit later. They're going to make moves because they have to worry about this year. Whereas if you're a Cowboys or you're a Cowboys GM or you're a Cowboys fan, you're planning 5 years down the road, because
absolutely
they don't plan for like the house is going to burn down tonight.
Sure.
You know, they expect the house is going to be there forever. Ain't never going to nothing happen. And that's an issue for us. With the wait and see. But you're right. It can get a little wonky. You turn around, Carnell Tate goes off the board. Okay, now Makai Lemon, he's up next. Now you got to start making some decisions about who you want to
Jordan Tyson could go. And then Omar Cooper, Chris Bell. You got a lot of work. You got a lot of guys who can go.
And you're right. You're absolutely right without question. So how we may pull a rabbit out of his hat, or make a move to get into a place where he can go get the guy he wants, to be in position to say, we're trading. When we make this trade, we don't miss a beat. Because come next week or 2 weeks, when they come in there for OTAs or mini camp, they want that guy who's going to be learning the playbook from May until July. And he has a head start on being able to do that. So I think that's definitely on the table and in the works.
And speaking of things that can kind of complicate things, Chris, moving on to the next subject. Over the weekend, on Saturday, or was it Sunday? Yeah, it was Saturday. We saw the big trade of the pre-draft. The New York Football Giants traded Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals for the 10th overall pick. Now, I mean, personally, the Giants won that. You know, Dexter Lawrence was a guy who only had 1 year left on his contract. Well, actually, I think it was 2 left on his contract, and was going to be seeking a trade, right? So let's put that in perspective. The Bengals chose not to pay Trey Hendrickson long term because you know how much money it could be and things like that. They turned around, traded for Dexter Lawrence, and gave him $28 million for 1 additional year on that contract. Cool for him, because all in all, he doesn't have much guaranteed money. He was already out of guaranteed money from his previous contract.
Okay, so now he gets a 1 year. He gets a 1 year extension.
He gets a 1 year extension for $28 million.
Get a little new money.
20 of that is guaranteed.
Right, so get a little new money, and then it can be to the point if they cut him at the end of the year, he gets back into the free agent market and be able to get some things going in that way, in that direction. What's up, Joe?
John,
how you doing, baby?
Appreciate y'all for hopping in.
What's up, man? What's going
on? But yeah, Chris. So that trade complicates things for a lot of teams in that wide receiver needy area, as well as the Cowboys, who aren't wide receiver needy, because it allows the Giants to take the best prospect at 5, right? Like, let's say that is Caleb Downs. Just as an example. But then they can turn around and satisfy their need at receiver opposite Malik Neighbors at 10. And that is before a lot of these other teams that need receivers. The only team that they really would need to worry about in that situation is possibly Washington. But Washington got O-line issues and some defensive issues. So they might not even take the receiver. The Giants are primed to upgrade their offense one way or another.
I think they upgrade their whole football team. They can get a stud. They can get a stud on the defensive side. They, add a guy in the middle or go outside, go get a versatile linebacker, different things of that nature. If they're not satisfied with the way they feel about Thibodeau, if they don't feel good about Thibodeau, then you turn around and you go and get Arvell Reese. If you don't feel good about the secondary, if within the top 5 picks, you'll be able to go get a Caleb Downs or go get a good cornerback, whichever is your flavor. So they put themselves in position. They can go get a prime. I want to say, can we say the sexy 6? The sexy 6.
Sure.
The sexy 6 picks that you want to be able to get, and then you can go ahead and get a solid, high-level contributor at 10.
Absolutely.
And then you still got another high draft pick at what, 30, 37, 39?
37. Top of the second round.
Right. So they can transfer on their football team, and what's in quote most people have said it's not been a high value or a lot of prospects type draft.
Especially at the top.
But in the first 40 picks, they can go and hit home runs and be batting 1,000 where they're picking at right now. Great move by them, and they're working as if they're a team that's got to make moves. They've got to get better. They've got to get into that top upper half of the NFC and work inside the division to make some noise.
You want to know what would really scare me, Chris? What would really, make me clinch up a little bit is if the Giants decide, man, screw it. Defense ain't gonna do nothing, man. We put points on the board. And they decide to go and get somebody like Jeremiah Love at 5. Then go and get, whether it's Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon or Carnell Tate at 10. Chris, that was scary.
B, my problem is when we first initially started doing this many moons ago, you thought it was crazy to think about getting a running back or a running back in the first round. Now all of a sudden,
I still think it is. But it would be scary because we would have to play them people twice.
Why would it scare? Wait a minute. Why would it scare you if they wouldn't got them, and didn't think it would be a benefit to us if we wouldn't got a running back? I'm just asking. Our minds want to know.
The Giants got a better defense than us today, Chris. That's why.
And then Green Run High School got a better defense than us today.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm okay. I see what you're saying. So you're saying for the long-term future because we have the 61st defense in the NFL.
Yeah, like 74th or something like that.
Yeah, right. Okay, I got you. Okay, that's what you're saying.
So
I just
the Giants still have a serviceable defense, right? If they was to go out there and double dip on offense, Chris, they'd be a scary offense.
John said something in the chat. What did John say in the chat?
John Harbaugh loves physical defenders.
Okay.
He also said that the Giants don't have a great offensive line either. True. Evan Neal is not good.
Right.
So it can go a variety of ways.
They got one of their tackles is really good though. Evan Neal is terrible. What's the other tackle?
He's horrible. Give me a second and I can let you know.
He's supposed to be. He's really good. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You could still turn around if you want to go. If Evan Neal, I think Evan Neal plays right tackle, so you can go and get the best
Andrew
right tackle.
Thomas. Andrew
Andrew Thomas is a stud. But Evan Neal is god awful, but you can maybe slide him inside, and if you go get a top right tackle, you're good to go. So you can help this football team out by leaps and bounds with those first 2 picks. In the first 3 picks, they should be able to really transform this football team a certain kind of way.
Absolutely.
But that goes with the question of other people just making moves to be able to help their team. We saw Trent Williams get another deal today.
Absolutely.
Man. Still out here.
The 49ers extended Trent Williams another 2 years. I want to say it was $50 million.
Yeah.
And I'm totally okay with that, Chris.
Okay. Wow.
Trent Williams, although he is older, Trent Williams, I want to say is like 36 or something like that. He's still today one of the best tackles in the league.
He false starts 75% of the time, but hey, I ain't call. I'm calling it what it is. So I mean, if I get an extra step on anybody, I can look great too. But okay, I kind of wish he'd have went somewhere else. But it's time for us. He's at the end of his career, so it's time for him to start looking like 36, 37-year-old Trent Williams.
I mean, that's on them. It's only 2 years. He's with them through the end of 2027. Okay. So it's definitely a preparation for them to pass the torch.
Yeah.
Now Joe asked, who are the Giants corners? They got Greg Newsome, Deonte Banks, who was a first rounder from a couple of years ago. He's still pretty good.
Yep.
They got Paulson Adebo, who is okay. Doesn't really scare me from anybody. Javon Holland hasn't been the same guy. He's been kind of injured, so he hasn't really been the same guy in the long term. But yeah, and Elijah Campbell, who came from, where did he come from? Jacksonville or something like that.
I have no clue who that young man is. Hey, but the thing, what you're looking at, Joe, is this:
Miami.
Okay. They position themselves that if they want to get one of those top 6 premier guys that we have talked about ad nauseum, they can go get it. Yeah. If they want to go out and go get somebody that's a bookend for the offensive line, like we said, they can go get them. Yep, they can go get another premier pass rusher if they feel like, okay, we sent Lawrence away, we're not happy with Thibodeau, let's get somebody opposite Abdul Carter. Then that gives them leverage to make some kind of moves with some of the guys that are already there. Hey,
I will say this much though, Chris. Kayvon Thibodeau is I think that his issue is he didn't live up to the hype that was set upon him pre-draft. So that's why people look at him a lot worse than how he actually is. But he's just an okay player, and it's okay to have some okay players as long as you got some dogs to fill in those gaps. You know what I'm saying?
If I can turn around,
Brian Burns is there too. So he's still on the opposite side.
So if they turn around and say, "Hey, I don't want an okay player. Mm-hmm. I got Brian Burns, who I know is a good player. I know Abdul Carter has some upside, and I go make a strength to a strength, and I go get David Bailey. Mm-hmm. I'll send Kayvon Thibodeau packing. Would you be upset with that?
I don't think that I would go for edge rusher first round. But and that's just because I think that Brian Burns is still really good. Abdul Carter, second year, he's gonna get better. Kayvon Thibodeau, okay. I think that you can live without spending one of your top 10 picks on an edge rusher. You could probably spend every other position, except like quarterback, because they believe they found their guy in Jackson Dart. So you could probably spend on every other position potentially in that top 10 and be okay. I don't think the edge rusher is the one that I would do.
So if you've already got rid of Dexter Lawrence,
he a nose. Hold
on, dog. Hold on.
My bad. I didn't realize I touched the stove while it was hot. Chris, go ahead.
So, since you said we don't need to go get a pass rusher or a defensive end, how you feel about Peter Woods in the top 10?
Absolutely not. And I like Peter Woods. I think Peter Woods is a good player. He just has a lot of contention about his usage his last year and things like that. But they pick at the top of the second round. If they wanted to try to get a nose, go get Peter Woods at pick 37. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, what about a Banks? What about a Caleb Banks and that high? Would you take him?
A little rich for my blood.
A little rich for you. Okay.
Little rich for my blood.
At 37, that's rich for you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Let me see here. It's wonderful. Because I got my board finished, Chris. I watched like 115 plays. I got a mid third round grade on Banks, man.
Okay. So who's your top inside? Who's your top nose tackle? Who's your top nose tackle on your board? Who's your top interior defensive lineman is Peter Woods, right?
Yes.
So you take Peter Woods at 37?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. I just asked. I just want to see.
John, Peter Woods is very versatile. He's not explicitly a nose, but he's played nose in college. He's played 3 tech in college. He's played 5 in college. He can play all across the offensive line.
Okay, that's good. I just want. I knew that was John's guy. That was his top guy, and he really likes him a lot inside. So just looking at that. But I still think with that situation. Having to make a move and knowing you've got some room, you might have a little wiggle room now where you can maybe get into that second round. I really think you can get another second and another third if you play this thing right with this happening. I still think you get a second and third.
And here's why. The Giants potentially drafting receiver or being in line to draft a receiver can make other teams behind Dallas at 12 a bit desperate. Because if you think about teams that need a receiver, Miami's there. So if you think about New York at 10, Miami at 11, 2 teams who could potentially take a receiver, then you have Dallas. Behind Dallas, you have the Rams, the Ravens.
Need a receiver. They might need one. The Rams don't need one.
Let me explain why possibly. Why possibly. Nacua, he got that early onset CTE.
Listen.
And Devontae Adams is a little older.
You can. We live in a time in America where people say a lot of crazy stuff.
Sure.
Puka said,
multiple times now.
I mean, hey, there's people in the highest office in the country that say multiple things multiple times, man. Yeah. Folks walking around here thinking they Jesus. So I ain't suspending Puka for nothing.
Oh, okay? No. I wouldn't suspend him. But I'm just saying I wouldn't leave it off the table.
Nah, I think they fine. I think the Eagles might want to come up. Well, it doesn't make a difference. If anybody wants to come talk to me at 12, my phone's on. You know what I'm saying?
And also,
my phone's on.
Just to continue going, you have Baltimore at 14. The Jets at 16 could need a guy opposite Garrett Wilson.
They could.
Excuse me. And like we mentioned before, the Eagles are a team. If they're going to draft as if AJ Brown isn't going to be there, they could be a team that could be in the need. So it might, the Giants being there as a team that needs a receiver, you go from possibly getting a top 2 receiver to possibly getting the 4th, maybe 5th guy, and that can make things real spooky for those teams that are sitting.
It can make people,
in the 10 to like 20, 22 range.
Well, from 10 and 11. Those two guys can go, and anybody after that who wants that 3rd guy, you're spot on. They're going to have to come up. That makes it to the point. Maybe you can get maybe get a little fleecing going on. Maybe you can get that 2nd from them. Maybe so we can move forward. So you're in a good position. You're in a good position.
But like I said, you also got to think about Kenyon Sadiq, as an option as well. Oregon tight end. Excellent pass catcher. My favorite tight end in this draft. Right. But Chris, I think that the Giants did a great job. I think that the Giants did a great job for a team that had a disagreement with the player and they moved quickly.
I just think they moved in the position of a team that's trying to win, and that leads us to probably our 3rd question of the night. As you know, anybody who's rocked with us here at Franklin Football, we big movie guys. And one of my favorite movies of all time, Spike Lee, Malcolm X, and there's a scene in there where Denzel is sitting there at the famous speech that Malcolm made. He says, I'm gonna stand here as what I've always been, and that's a football fan. But I think we've been had. I think we've been took. I think we've been bamboozled. I think we've been led astray. I think we have absolutely been run amok by the Dallas Cowboys. Because as I was sitting watching our homie B Bird and Big Time Sports, Big Time and Cowboy Rob, they were talking as if had the Dallas Cowboys done enough in free agency or moved as if they were giving us every available option to win now. And I have to honestly say them brothers was spot on, man. And I stood on the wall. I got the fire Jerry hats, and as soon as they turn around and make a move, I want to give them a pass. So they doing okay.
Oh no.
And I'm sitting here right now looking, have you given and me and John Herndon, who's a friend of the show, often say we're sitting here trying to figure out what Christian Parker can do. But we really want Christian Parker to act like he at a wedding, man, and turn water to wine. Because we have no clue what kind of scheme he's going to run. And we haven't really given the available pieces or the requisite pieces, to our word of the day, to go be super successful this season.
I agree.
So with that being said, man, have we been had again, dog?
Absolutely. I've said it for a long time that they haven't done enough in free agency this year. They did a lot in the secondary. Cool. I think that Christian Parker would, of course, do that because he's an ex-secondary coach. Wonderful. But if you look at the edge rushers, the linebacker room, what have they done? The answer's not much. They're choosing to rely heavily on the draft like they've done in years past. And I mean, we understand how the Joneses operate now. I'm not sure if that's a Will McClay thing. If it is, we know about him. But I mean that is how the Cowboys operate, though.
I mean, you can't blame Will because Will really doesn't have a position or a title where you can put blame on him. It's like Will gets to take credit if everything goes great, and then gets to say, "Ain't my fault if it go bad." You follow what I'm saying? So with that being said, it still always falls back on Jerry.
Of course.
And then the panel of folks like that. Nobody's job.
The brain trust.
The brain trust. There we go.
Yeah.
It's really no one's fault if it goes left because you can't put the finger on nobody. And at the end of the day, everybody in the front office, last name is Jones. They ain't got to worry about getting fired.
Nope. Can't get fired.
So,
but yes, Chris, to answer your question, yeah, the Joneses have not done enough.
Okay.
I don't think that they will ever do enough in an off season unless they become truly desperate. And without the fear of firing, how else can they become truly desperate?
So with that being said, what the Giants did, they did it like a team that, hey, I gotta go win now.
Yeah.
You know, they made a move like you gotta go win now. And you know, and when we were talking about moving up, that was just like that just didn't seem, that was an ill-advised move because you're not one player away. So and I want us to stop talking like you got 2 first-round draft picks next year, because you don't. Whichever pick,
you only got one.
You only got one next year. And this trading off the future stuff doesn't make any sense because you give way too much value away for guys into the future when you are 7 to 8 players away from being ultra competitive in your own conference. What you thinking, B?
So a lot of the other teams that you mentioned who are behaving as if they are desperate and or one player away and things like that. Hold on. Let me land.
Go ahead.
They're probably generally a lot closer to that thought than the Cowboys are. The Cowboys got holes to fill on our defense. You know what I'm saying? As well as a hole or two on offense. Other teams might have the same amount of holes to fill on their entire team as we got to fill on our defense. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I think that's why other people can feel comfortable operating in that space.
I don't understand what you're saying, because I still think, I mean, I know our defense was bad last year, but I mean, you can look at a team like Cincinnati. They got issues they got to deal with. You got teams like, you know, Minnesota, who don't even like their quarterback, who they draft in the first round. They still got him on a contract and they hate him. So I mean, but they got and they've lost, and they've got people who want new money and things like that. I'm just using those two teams as my point of reference. But what I'm saying is, they are at least trying to move in a position of trying to win, of trying to be competitive, to try to say, hey, I'm trying to end whatever drought I got. When you have the longest drought in the NFL, but make the most money and have the most resources, it's really a slap in the face of all Cowboy fans saying you're doing enough when you don't. You know, you haven't. And I think what we do is we give the benefit of the doubt to them, like, this year they didn't wait till week 3 to do something. They did it in the tampering period, but they really didn't go make the splash that we wanted to do. Like, we're finding reasons to love PJ Locke, which he's a good player, and we know he's worked through.
Chris, I look at stuff like that. I've been very, very vocal about looking at a lot of these guys as they don't stop me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, nobody stops you. Nobody stops you because you have so many holes. But you know for sure you got a hole. You got a hole at your win quick defensive end, and you definitely got a hole in your linebacker room. And you probably could have turned around and got, even if you didn't get your first or second pick you wanted in the from the free agency at linebacker, you still could have went and found it.
You could have got somebody. You could have got somebody.
And
you know, once again, choosing to be negligent, if it's not going to look too great in that second phase of free agency post draft, because by then, you know, everything's picked bare. So that you going back and you doing the same old song and dance. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the only person that we have given grace to is Christian Parker. I don't think that collectively Cowboys fans have given grace to the Joneses this year. I think that they've given grace to Christian Parker because his job is actually kind of easy. All he got to do is be better than Flus. That's all he got to do.
Yeah, and that's not hard. But I also think that I think, and you're right. You're spot on with, you know, the grace we got, and his job isn't as hard as many people might think. But I also believe that this second tier of free agency, this post-draft free agency, they're going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to go. But I don't want them to be so aggressive that they give away stuff that I don't want to see. I don't want to see anything given in the top 5 rounds of next year. I don't want a 27. I don't want a
Chris, technically, we've
you
already given it up. We've already given one of those picks up.
We gave up 2 of them. We gave up 2 of them. We got the first, the second, I think we got a third.
I'm talking about next year. I'm talking about next year.
That's what I'm saying.
We've already given up one of those picks in the Quentin Williams trade.
You give two of them up because you got the first you give away, your worst pick of your 2 first-round picks go to New York.
Sure.
And then this year's second.
This year's second.
Right.
I'm talking about 2027.
Yeah. So, I'm just away from that. So I don't want to see anything. I don't want one of those fifths you give away. Oh, we're giving a fifth away for, Jasper Applebottom from, someone that you don't even know who he is. And like, who? And I don't want to see that happen. So, that's how they get it. People be like, oh yeah, Jasper. He made a playback. Oh, Jasper. Okay. They were still making Jaspers out here.
I've never met nobody named Jasper in my life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what's up, man.
So let me ask you this, Chris, and this is something that we've addressed before, like months ago at this point. But what position on that defense? What position group? Whether it is the defensive line, the linebackers, or the secondary, which position group would you be okay not addressing at all in day one? Because you only got 2 first-round picks. So which position group would you be okay not addressing?
You sitting here saying you only got 2 first-round picks.
Ain't that crazy?
Like that ain't abnormal.
Yeah.
Which one? Which position group would I not?
Which position group would you be okay not addressing?
My secondary.
I agree.
Because I have to deal with my defensive line, and I have to get a linebacker. I have to get a linebacker. Or put myself. I have to get a linebacker.
Now, and the reason that I say secondary, Chris, that's the position where they have at least put an effort addressing this offseason. So you got some mystery there. There's a little bit of mystique,
Mystique where? In the secondary?
Yeah, with guys that you brought in, like your PJ Locke, like your Jalen Thomas, things like that.
I think it's the only room you put any bodies in that you don't have. You feel like
the exact same thing as me. You're saying the exact same thing as me.
But Mystique is like that guy is. He's golden or he's.
Oh no.
Okay,
There's an air of mystery there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
there's an air of mystery.
Okay, say it that way. Mystique to me means like, I'm holding them up in high regard.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Nobody I'm really holding up in high regard. I like
that's the only area where they've tried to for real improves. Rashawn Gary, I don't really count that too much, because you got Rashawn Gary, but you don't have Clowney no more. So that I feel like that is at the best a wash. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'll give you that.
But the edge room definitely need a guy. Linebacker room need a guy. If you came out of day one, if you came for sure you're right. If you came out of day one and you said, okay, we double dipped that edge rusher, I'd be like, okay. If you came out of day one and you double dipped the linebacker, I'd say okay, because you improved both of those rooms drastically, regardless.
Yeah, if you end up doing that, then it's gonna be forever said. A team suck at drafting if you end up getting 2 linebackers that you feel like can upgrade their room, right?
Let me say this as well. If you came out of day one and you double dipped in the defensive backfield, Chris, I'd be very nervous. Because how are you gonna get to the quarterback? Who your linebacker is gonna be? Chris, if you double dip at defensive back, Chris, I would be scared. I would be scared. Because yes, you would improve that room drastically. But man, you wouldn't have a hole in your defense. You have a crater because you don't have a second round pick.
I'm with you on that. I was just thinking of the combination you could get in the second in the first round, but how bad would everyone have had to just?
Are you talking about for DBs or are you talking about for edge rushers, linebackers? Like what are you talking about?
No, if you'd have turned around and got two DBs in the first round, that means you're like you would have reached
McCoy and Thieneman. That is within reach.
Yeah, but wow, that's not
even an out of this world possibility. Like one of those guys could be there at 12, the other one could be there at 20. McCoy, because and this just came out today. Jermod McCoy could potentially have another surgery. Still in what was it called? It was like a bone plunge or something like that. Something that he needed to. They had to take from one part of his bone in order to repair some cartilage in his knee, not related to that ACL. So he could potentially need another surgery.
So it's the opposite knee?
No, it's not related to the ACL. He had to have some cartilage repaired, and they have to then work on the spot that they took the bone from.
Is it pending, or they already did it and they're waiting for it to heal?
Pending. He could possibly need the surgery.
Oh, so it's not definite.
Yes. So that could be another thing that causes Jermod McCoy to drop.
To fall in the draft.
So his play is like that. That goes without question. The last time we saw Jermod McCoy on the field, he looked like he could be the best corner in this draft, right? But that needing an additional surgery and maybe not starting camp on time, all of that sort of stuff.
Well, no, yeah,
I'm not even breaking news with that. I'm not breaking news guy. But that could scare a few teams away.
Well, that scare a lot of teams away. But then that would also make you overdraft in certain areas too. Make you overdraft in certain areas. So I mean, I think I think with that being said, and him kind of being off the board, I think that moves you to the point where
he is not definitively off of the Cowboys board. I can't say that. He is not definitively off of the Cowboys board. And, my phone ain't gold, but it's like stainless steel or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Totally off the board, but for day one, he's off the board. Day one, he's off the board.
I can't confirm that. I can't say that definitively.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But like just to humor me, like let's say, for example, the Cowboys got Akeem Mesidor, and then let's see who is somebody that would be there like 20. Cassius Howard, in day one. That might be a little bit of a reach on how, sure. But let's say you got those two guys. Chris, I feel great about my edge rushers. I feel wonderful.
You'll have a guy. You'll have your pad. You'll have your quick win defensive end. But I think both of those would be a reach, especially because you would go get Mesidor at 12. I think we all said Mesidor is a reach at 12, but you wouldn't have a problem at 20. But if you can get back, let's say, but you wouldn't feel he was a reach at 16.
Nope.
You wouldn't think he was a reach at 16, and then you could turn around and maybe go and get the best linebacker off the board. If you want to go get Hill.
I'm talking about specifically double dipping. That's why I named two edge rushers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like if you look at linebacker, CJ Allen will be a reach at 12, but let's say you came out with CJ Allen and either Anthony Hill or Jake Rodriguez. Christian linebacker room will be set. You got your cerebral guys. You know what I'm saying? You got two guys who know how to move in a smart way. You know what I'm saying? To go along with your
so you're talking about reaching. You're talking about reaching 12 and 12. You're talking about reaching for guys.
Chris, I'm talking about if you double dip at a position, you will feel great about your defense. If you double dip at edge rusher, you will feel good about your defensive front. If you double dip at linebacker, you will feel good. If you double dip at DB, Chris, I would not feel good.
I think you could double dip different ways. I can go get a quick win defensive end and then go get another defensive tackle. So let's say, for instance, you would feel like as a reach at Peter Woods at 12. I wouldn't. I'll go get Peter Woods at 12, and if I get Mesidor at 20, I'm killing it. And I don't think Woods is a reach at 12. I don't think Banks is a reach at 12.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? I don't think Banks is a reach at 12 at all.
Interesting.
I don't think he's a reach at all. Because I think he's because he can be multiple. He can play inside as he can play outside. He's a quick twitch guy that can get can win early. I still need a guy who can win early and knows how to play football a certain kind of way.
Sure.
If I got Falk at 12, I'm pissed because I just think he has a lot of tools, but he don't know how to play football. I've never went against that. I know his upside is amazing. Now, 4 years from now, he may be, wow, Falk is amazing.
Yeah.
But 26, 27, and when this dude gonna pop? That's gonna be the feeling.
Out of curiosity, Chris, how would you feel about Keldrick Faulk at 20?
No. Now it depends who's left on the board. Oh, you talking about double? So if I whoa. You saying if I'm double dipping at defensive end at 12
no. 12 and 20. Let's say you get a guy at 12 and Keldrick Faulk is there at 20. Nope. Would you?
Nope.
You wouldn't?
No.
Okay.
Cause now, who did I get at 12? I'm not taking Keldrick Faulk at 20 under no circumstances.
No circumstances.
None.
I'd take him at 20. I'd take him at 20.
Because you want to be right about him.
No. On hold on. On my board, he's right in that range. This is why it's good to have sources. Stuff that you can reference.
Hey.
Let's just go here.
Bro.
Keldrick Faulk right here is on my board right around that 20 range.
So you got it at 20. You got Faulk ahead of Zion Young, Malachi Lawrence, and Banks.
Yes.
It's your board.
Chris, Caleb Banks is the 3rd round grade in my opinion.
Like I said, it's your board.
Mm-hmm.
It's your board.
Yeah, if Faulk were there at 20, that's right in range. That's right. It might be like a pick or two, but picking a guy at 20 when you got him as your 22nd guy, that's not really a reach like that. You know what I'm saying?
But dude, you can go back. He don't know how to play football yet. Mm-hmm. You're banking on his upside. I'm banking on his floor. Mm-hmm. His floor is extremely low. And Banks, Lawrence,
not as a run stopper. He's a very good run stopper.
Man, Banks, Lawrence, and Young are better than him right now. Right now. No, they're better than him right now. I know you want to be right. It's cool.
I enjoy being right. Being right. But
you want to be right.
That too. But I enjoy being right. So
okay.
I think that. Go ahead.
You will be right 3 years from now.
Possibly.
Hopefully. I want to be right. I want to be right in September.
Sure.
Because I got to win some football games.
Mm-hmm.
So okay.
So Chris, the Cowboys did a thing today. You know, we decided to. Well, let me say it first, and then let me explain why. When it happened, I had a deep sigh. You know, just had a. So the Cowboys signed Brandon Aubrey to a 4-year, $28 million contract with $20 million guaranteed.
20.
Excellent pay for a kicker. Excellent pay for a kicker, right? What is that? An average of $7 million per year, I think.
Without question, it's easy math. Easy math.
Now
made him the highest paid kicker. Made him the highest paid kicker in NFL history. NFL history.
So here's the thing, though, Chris. Brandon Aubrey obviously contributed to a lot of points for the Cowboys. He contributed to over 150 points for the Cowboys this year. Whether it was from field goals, he had the 4th most field goals made, and then he was like 5th in extra points or something like that. I think all in all he contributed 151 points to the Cowboys if I remember right from at like 1:00 today. Okay. You got one of the best kickers in the league. In my opinion, only the dude from Jacksonville was comparable. Okay. But the thing that bums me out about it is the Joneses got this contract their way. And so all that does is reinforce their opinions that they can do things that way. They can choose to just wait things out instead of signing a guy quick, fast, and in a hurry. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean by their way? You explain about their way. They still went through his agent.
Yes, absolutely. But what I mean is you know, the Joneses don't get things done with urgency.
When did you want to sign him, B?
You said when would I have signed him? I would have signed him. Yeah. I would have preferably signed him as soon as possible, right?
I mean, but wasn't he looking like, wasn't it like 10 million he was looking for or something like that? Wasn't it reported one time? Okay.
Yes, but the way that they got this contract done is by the Joneses just not having urgency in it, and other teams not showing real interest, which brought their market down. I said that to you guys earlier today. They got this done because other teams had a lack of interest.
I don't understand what you wanted him to do, though. You're losing me on this one. Because I mean, first off, you dealt with his agent. You had a problem with him with the fact that you're dealing with the agent. Yeah. He's a kicker, right? Mm-hmm. He's a kicker, right? Yeah. He got the most money of any kicker in the history of the game.
Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was kind of me personally.
And I could be nitpicking. I could be nitpicking because I feel like this reinforces the Joneses' belief that their way of handling contracts, just not having any urgency and things like that. I feel like this reinforced that belief.
I mean, I don't think it was a sense of urgency of what they put a tender on him. It was reported he wanted $10 million. I wouldn't have paid his ass $7 million. I'm gonna just be totally honest with you. I would have found me a dude on the street. I'd have found me a dude in the draft. I'd have found me somebody else. I would have paid him $7 million because I need to put pressure on my offensive coordinator / head coach to quit thinking, if I get to the 45-yard line, I'm just gonna stop trying to get to the end zone.
Yeah,
that's what I didn't like about it is that he had so many points because Shoddy turned around as soon as he got past the 50. Well, I don't have to try to push the ball downfield or take chances or call plays that make me to the point that I'm trying to go and score. If I get it to the 35, hey, let me just bring Aubrey in and let him kick a 45, 55-yard field goal and get 3 points. So that's the only thing I had a problem with. I need more pressure, and I've said this before, I need more pressure on my offensive play caller to call plays that are conducive for me to scoring 7 instead of settling for 3. I'm going to once I get past the 50,
what fixes that is your coach not being cute. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times he got cute with the way that he handled things, especially once you got into the red zone.
I think he got cute once he got past the 50, bro.
Even more, yeah. Even more.
So I mean, I don't have the problem with. I want everybody to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, okay? Absolutely.
And I believe I don't think the Cowboys they got the price down from $10 million to $7 million. But listen what you said. $7 million for a kicker is insane, right? And we're always at the top of the market for everybody. So all it does is reinforce what I've always thought from the beginning is that George Pickens is going to be on two franchise years, 2 years of being franchised. Because if they paying $7 million to a kicker, I'd be damned if they're going to turn around and pay the amount that you want to pay him, and definitely what David Mulugheta wants to get him paid. They're not going to pay him. So that's all I saw happen today. That's all I saw. Absolutely. You know, it now. Honestly, it kind of ticked me off because they ain't got no problem with, dealing with Todd France. They ain't got no problem with dealing with Todd France. And Todd France, this is a family show, but if, did some things to him in a roundabout way, let's say violated him several times.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I believe that Todd France is probably public enemy number 2. Behind David Mulugheta right now. The only reason he's number 2 is because Mulugheta's more recent. That's the only reason.
But my problem is they ain't got a problem with picking up the phone and talking to friends. They ain't got a problem with dealing with him. They got a problem with dealing with Mulugheta.
And I can say this. I can say this because other people have said it to me in a public way. Shout out Jeff Kavanaugh. David does that on purpose. Like he intentionally ignores them, and that's because other agents know this as well. The agents know that the way to get to the Joneses is to just say nothing. If they say something to you, look at them and keep it moving. Don't even respond to them when you face to face.
That's not. Go ahead. Go and finish.
That is true.
It's not. Yes, not with him. Not with him. B, you missing it. They already put it out there. The way. I understand in the past they've done that with France. France they've done that. This is not the issue with him, and I don't know why. We missing that. They set this thing up to say, "Show me what interest the rest of the league got for George." They had all the cards on their side. George has had He had issues in Pittsburgh. The whole league has high regards for Mike Tomlin. So he beat the odds by being a receiver that came out of Pittsburgh and was productive somewhere else.
Sure.
He already had issues reportedly that he was late a lot of time in Pittsburgh, and he showed that same kind of issue when he came to Dallas. Yep. Go find out.
Got your number one receiver in trouble, cousin.
When they got themselves in trouble with that, they both was that. But here's what they said: go find out what the league is willing to pay him. And we're acting as if the league doesn't collude when it comes to these players.
Absolutely.
So the league turns around and says, "Hey, you know what? I'm not going to give you this kind of money for this," which works right into the Cowboys' hands, saying, "Hey, listen, we got a fair offer on the table. Come sign this kind of deal for us. If you can't get a better deal, you can't go anywhere. You're already tagged. So go from there." So the money that you want to pay him, this $37 million a year, that ain't never happened. And then that way they can say, "Hey, we put it out there. The league said you're not worth it. You got to come back and get a lesser number and go from there." So they round about. I'm gonna use a term, and they kind of redlined him.
Yeah,
they redlined. They redlined him to the point that they boxed him into an area where he's gonna have to deal with this number and not get the number that he really wants. And the Cowboys and the Cowboys did that.
Yeah.
So you know, but Todd France ain't had no problem picking up the phone with. Todd France done violated them several times, and this is another time they violated him because $7 million. $20 million guaranteed for a kicker is crazy. There's only one kicker in this draft. The NFL has came out and said there's only one kicker that's probably going to get drafted this year.
Yeah.
And they paid $7 million for a guy they got from the UFL.
Yeah.
Get your whole entire ass out of here, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, shout out to Aubrey getting his money though. So
I mean, he got his bread. He got his bread. But that was a move once again made by a football team.
Yeah.
And an owner and a GM that ain't got to worry about getting fired.
Absolutely.
You ain't seeing nobody else paying their kicker no $7 million. You just said the guy in Jacksonville was better or comparable.
Yeah, he's the only comparable. He was the only comparable guy last year.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think Cam Little, I think his name was.
Man, I don't even remember right. Man, listen, he's a kicker, man. You can't name 5 kickers quick. Raphael Septien, you know what? Gail Premium, right? The dude with the club foot from the Saints. You can't even name 5 kickers quick. Vander Jack. Yeah, see?
Yeah. Vinatieri.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, come on, man.
Janikowski.
Come on.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? $7 million is crazy, man.
Yeah. Joe said what two Jersey City packed for his road trip and gave a list. I would say Lamb and Tyler Smith. Can't go wrong with Lamb and Tyler Smith.
I'm gonna take CD and I'm gonna go ahead and get Captain Comeback in there, man. You know, the disrespect and the lack of reverence to the great Roger Staubach needs to be put on there, man. That's the guy.
I want to live then, Chris.
I mean, that's fine, bro.
That games were still showing in black and white then, man.
No, they weren't, dog. They was in color, yo. Stop playing. Yeah,
okay.
They were, bro. Don't play me, dog. Don't play me like I saw the moon launch and none of that. Come on, the rock knob. We was in color, yo. We was in color. Now, we probably had aluminum foil on something, but it was in color.
Yeah. Look. Got to adjust the antenna or something like that.
Something like that. That's what's up.
So Chris, before we get out of here, you got a little something special coming up soon. This week you are going to be a guest on Around the Nation, episode 4 of Around the Nation. Hosted and quarterbacked by and edited by great friend of the show, Skywalker Steele.
Absolutely.
Don't tell them who the other people are gonna be yet. Don't do that. Let them figure that out when the show drops on Wednesday. Or Thursday, whichever day it's gonna drop. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, man. Go out there, get a W for us.
No doubt, man. I'm gonna try to go represent, man. I definitely want to fight well. Don't want to be last. And you know, if we can get to the show, we can get to the to the final round, man. That's a shout out for Frankly Football, man.
Absolutely.
And the combined, we go out there and represent, man. But make sure everyone like, shares, and subscribe here with us, but also go check out anything that Skywalker Still puts out on his channel and different things. I mean, they've had 3 really good shows prior to this one, man. And so
all of them fired.
Yeah, all of them been fired. And we get the one right before the draft, so I think it's going to be a lot of draft questions and content from there. So I think we've gone over it backwards, forward, sideways. Flipped it upside down. Hey, what if this happens? So I think we'll be okay. With the questions they bring on the table.
Absolutely. Chris Landon's playing for me, brother.
Yo, man, listen, we've been back, man. We were off for a couple of days, man. Shout out, man, and prayers are going out to B's mom. She's recovering well, man, things of that nature. Got a chance to go to Blacksburg, man, and go see the spring game and get back. And we had little to minimal injuries up there. So shout out to them, man. And we're back at Frankly Football. And like you said, this Thursday, NFL draft, man. So make sure you do this always, man. Hang out with the dudes, man, that's out there selling cold bottled waters on the side of the road, man, so that you don't you don't get dehydrated out here, man. Like, share, subscribe, man, comment, always appreciate it, man. As always, man, we've been here for an hour and we will forever be Frankly Football. So until next time,
peace.